Hospitalized just for a fracture. Stop being such a baby. You better crawl out of there and cook dinner, or we're getting a divorce. How could anyone, hearing their wife was in the hospital, have those words come out of their mouth first, instead of concern? Most people wouldn't be able to understand, but this is my husband. I can't take it anymore. I was at the end of my tether, but there was someone even more furious with my husband than me. That was none other than his own parents. I wonder how he will react when his folks step in. My name is Eileen, 29 years old. I got a job at a fairly well-known company immediately after graduating from college. Although I don't work at the headquarters, I still make a decent income. My husband Matt is 32. We met at a client company, and after several encounters, he took the initiative to exchange contact information. He then asked me out to dinner, and after dating for 1.5 years, we crossed the finish line. When he proposed, he looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I want to be with you for the rest of my life, Eileen. Will you marry me?" I'm happy, but are you sure about me? I want you, Eileen. You're the first person to make me feel this happy when we're together. Matt, thank you. I want to be with you forever, too. We were then blessed by many people at our wedding ceremony and vowed to love each other forever. But 2 years after the ceremony, if asked whether there is still love between us, we wouldn't be able to confidently answer yes. The reason is simple. Matt changed during these 2 years. It all started with something trivial. Since we got married, he started to gradually push household chores onto me. Given that we were both working, we agreed to share household chores equally before getting married. Despite this, Matt stopped doing his part of the chores, like cleaning the bath and doing the dishes. At first, he would do it reluctantly when I pointed it out, but he gradually stopped doing it even when I asked. Because of this, my workload increased, and overtime hours piled up, eating into my bedtime. Exhausted both mentally and physically, I decided to have a talk with Matt. When I returned home, my husband, who had arrived home before me, was already lounging on the sofa with a beer in his hand. He didn't even greet me. Although I was frustrated with him, I started the conversation calmly. "Hey, Matt, there's something I want to talk about." Keeping his eyes on the TV, he responded, "What is it?" I snatched the remote from him and turned off the TV. "Hey, what are you doing? I was watching that." My husband sprang up, raising his voice. "I told you I wanted to talk, right? It's important. Please listen." What a hassle. So what is it? I don't have any free time, you know. Free time? He's just been watching TV and drinking beer. Biting back the urge to shout back, I maintained my composure and continued. Matt, you haven't been doing any housework recently, have you? Why not? We agreed to share the chores since we both work, didn't we? Isn't it obvious? Because doing housework isn't something I should be doing. What do you mean? Cleaning the bathroom and doing the dishes were your responsibilities, weren't they? Why should I, as the husband, have to do such things? That's a woman's job. Wait, are you serious? You were the one who suggested we share the chores. That was just a pretense to play the role of a good husband. Isn't it obvious? At the wedding, you even told our guests, "I'm so grateful that my husband helps with the housework. That was the whole point, haha." So what are you saying? That you begrudgingly did the housework just during the wedding period to improve your image? With a smirk on his face, my husband said, "Exactly, haha." I couldn't believe my husband would say such an outrageous thing. The shock left me at a loss for words. I'm tired from working overtime too. After coming home later than you, how dare you say such a thing to me? Just a reminder, your looks and figure are below average, okay? What? Why are you bringing this up out of the blue? What does this have to do with our current discussion? A plain woman like you should be grateful for marrying a man like me. And yet, you're whining about mere housework. Know your place. My husband Matt blurted out loudly and turned on the TV without waiting for my response. He took a swig of his half-finished beer and easily diverted his attention away from me. I couldn't believe it. I'm even working overtime, so how could he say such things? No matter how I think about it, that's just not right. I had a lot to say, but if I opened my mouth now, it would only start an argument. To calm myself down, I went straight to bed after taking a bath that night. Since then, I tried to find a chance to talk to Matt, but was always dismissed. Every time I tried to start a conversation, he told me, "Don't boss me around," and there was no room for discussion. As if avoiding me, Matt would go out somewhere whenever he had his day off. Of course, he didn't do any housework. Even though it was supposed to be my day off, I ended up doing all the housework at once. Time passed, and as my company entered a busy period, my overtime hours increased more than usual. Then Matt exploded in anger again. "Hey, what time do you think it is? Where's my dinner?" Matt started yelling as soon as I came home after finishing 3 hours of overtime. I told you this morning that I'd be doing overtime today, so you should either make dinner yourself or eat out. What? Are you kidding me? Why should I have to cook my own meal? It's fine if I eat out, but where's the money for that? Are you gonna give it to me? Why should I? I'm busy too, so please cooperate a little. The word busy seemed to upset him. He kicked the leg of the table and barked at me with a demonic expression. "I don't care whether you're busy or not. You're stuck doing overtime because you can't manage your time, right?" That's not it. My company is really busy right now. Don't get carried away just because you can do a little work. You should just listen to what I say, you foolish woman. Since that day, I started to distance myself from Matt. To avoid being scolded, I prepared dinner in advance on the days when I would be working overtime. I also decided to do all the housework on my days off. In retrospect, I probably should have just divorced him right away. But even in such a situation, I couldn't truly despise him from the bottom of my heart. Living like this, my burden inevitably began to accumulate. After 2 months, both my body and mind were completely worn out, and I lost my motivation for work. One day, on my way to work, I missed a step on the subway stairs and fell. Although I was conscious, I couldn't move due to the pain and ended up being transported by ambulance. Even after arriving at the hospital, the pain in my body didn't recede, and I couldn't move as I wanted. Once all the examinations were done, the doctor came into my room and said, "You fractured your leg and have bruises on your arm and back. You must be in so much pain, right?" Yes, I can't move my body as I want to even now. Likely, you will be in this condition for a few days. You look pale. Were you tired? That's... Anyway, you will have to stay in the hospital for a while. Can you contact your family yourself? Yes, I can. When I checked my phone, I had a message from a colleague. Apparently, they were at the same subway station when I was taken away by ambulance. They had already explained the situation at work, and they contacted my husband, Matt. Feeling relief and fatigue from my daily life, sleepiness suddenly came over me. Before I knew it, I fell asleep. A few hours later, I woke up to the vibration of my smartphone. On the screen, Matt's name was displayed. Presumably, he got a call from work. Did he call because he was worried? Indiscreetly, I felt a little anticipation as I answered the call. Hello? Hey, what time do you think it is? Get back home already. Confused by Matt's loud voice, I couldn't hide my bewilderment. Didn't you hear? Huh? What are you talking about? I had an accident at the station. I'm in the hospital now. I've broken my leg and I'm going to be admitted. A few seconds of silence passed. Then he burst into laughter. What the heck are you saying? Haha. Hospitalized? You're not trying to use this as an excuse to abandon housework, are you? What? What are you saying? Of course not. Didn't you get a call from the office? No such thing came. Even if you try to deceive me, it's futile. Even if it's true, it's none of my business. Get back here and cook dinner, got it? What? Wait a minute, Matt. My words were cut off as the call ended abruptly. How could he say such a thing so casually? Isn't it normal to worry when you hear that your wife has been hospitalized? To Matt, am I just a convenient existence to do housework? Exhausted, I laid down on the bed again. A text from Matt appeared on my phone. If you're not coming home, I'll order takeout. You're paying. The moment I saw the stark, emotionless message, all my feelings were suddenly cleared. It's foolish to be troubled anymore. The moment I considered divorce, there was a knock on my hospital room door. When I saw who had entered, I couldn't believe my eyes. What? My father-in-law and mother-in-law? Why? My in-laws lived far away, and apparently they weren't on good terms with Matt. So even after our marriage, I hardly ever saw them, maybe once a year at most. I couldn't understand why they were here. Perhaps sensing my confusion, my mother-in-law spoke gently. Eileen, sorry to disturb you. We heard you were taken to the hospital in an ambulance, and we were worried. How did you know that? We got a call from your office. Huh? According to them, the company had contacted them a few hours earlier, and they had hurried over. The company had tried to contact Matt several times, but he had not picked up the phone at all. Hence, they had reached out to his childhood home, which had been designated as an emergency contact, and this led his parents to come over. The unexpected kindness was enough to make me choke up. I was genuinely happy that they had come all this way out of pure concern. I fought back the tears welling up inside me and bowed my head to Matt's parents. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, thank you so much. It's okay, dear, we're family. Where is Matt, though? Don't tell me, he hasn't shown up? Yes. They were taken aback at my response. Then my cell phone rang. The caller was Matt. Hello? What the hell is wrong with you? Are you seriously not planning on coming back? The unexpected yelling surprised Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, and they exchanged glances. I put my index finger to my lips, indicating that they should remain quiet. They nodded, and I continued responding to Matt. Didn't I tell you? I've been admitted to the hospital. I don't think I'll be able to come home for a few days. Admitted to the hospital for a mere fracture? Stop being so pampered. Crawl your way out and cook some food. Mrs. Johnson, about to exclaim, was stopped by Mr. Johnson. Matt, continuing his tirade, oblivious to the fact that his own parents were listening in. Just to let you know, if you refuse, we're getting a divorce, all right? Haha. A divorce? Are you serious? Of course. Why wouldn't I be? No point being with someone like you, who's not only unattractive, but also neglects their household duties, haha. I was left speechless, baffled by my husband's loud laughter over the phone. Isn't it about time to stop? He had always looked down on others. I had to say something. Hey, are you okay saying stuff like that? Your parents are furious. What? What are you talking about? Haha. He responded with a frivolous tone, perhaps thinking it was a joke. I handed my smartphone to my in-laws and left the rest to them. Then my in-laws unleashed a thunderous rebuke into the phone. Matt, how could you say such things to Eileen? How could you be so heartless, knowing your wife is in the hospital? We don't even consider you our son anymore. You're disowned. Wait, hold on, it's not what you think. There's a reason for this. There's no excuse for your behavior. All you do is say the worst things. I'm ashamed to have a son like you. Apologize to Eileen right now. Perhaps feeling overpowered by his parents, my husband suddenly switched gears and started yelling at me. Eileen, enough is enough. Using my mom and dad like this? Using them? It's your fault for not answering the call from your company, isn't it? That's why they ended up getting the message. It's your own doing. That number? Was it from your company? How misleading. Fine, I'll divorce you. Are you okay with that, huh? I let out all the pent-up anger and resentment and firmly stated my position. Divorce? Bring it on. In fact, I want nothing to do with a man like you. How long are you going to think you're superior? I don't have a single reason to cling to you. Arlene, what are you saying? I should have known better than to think common sense would apply to a man like you. I have no reason to stay your wife any longer. If you understand it, never show your face to me again. Get lost, you piece of crap. After that, I officially divorced my husband, Matt. At first, he was reluctant, but thanks to my in-laws introducing a divorce attorney, I was able to split on favorable terms. The divorce completely changed Matt's life. He ate out for every meal, and his health deteriorated. Unable to do his laundry, I heard he went to work in wrinkled suits and shirts. As a result, his reputation among his coworkers plummeted. Rumors started to circulate around the office. Heard he didn't even visit his wife when she was hospitalized. Isn't that messed up? Well, no wonder she dumped him, ha ha ha. Eventually, Matt started to miss work without notice. Without anyone on his side, it's probably only a matter of time before he's forced to quit. On the other hand, I was discharged from the hospital and was able to go back to work as usual. Although I am now a divorcee, my job kept me busy, so the impact was less than I expected. And if the opportunity to meet a good person comes along again, next time I'll make sure to properly assess them. All for the sake of finding true happiness this time.